I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome. Good to see you. Proud.
And big, no bark.
All set in order. Anything to go with the agenda?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as printed then.
No, second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Carried. Minutes. No entertainment.
Morning.
Thing is in order. I would make a motion to approve last week's minutes. I'll second. Any other discussion? You do a lot of work, don't you, bud? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve the claims.
I looked at the claims, and I got a total of $188,365.11.
Guess that's the number I had, but I have a couple of questions on it. Those conservation bids for the building out at Sheldon Park, are those in line for what? We don't have a clue, do we?
It's through their budget.
I know it's through their
Yeah.
budget, but I don't. Are those within line of what they were planning on spending?
No idea.
Well, I don't have any idea either. But there's roughly $70,000. I'm assuming that's in their budget.
I would imagine you have to hold that one and ask.
Well, you don't have to hold it. I'm just kind of curious about it, if that's.
Well, as long as, you know, they're in their budget and they have the money and we knew they were gonna do that, I don't see what the issue is.
I just asked the question. That was the issue.
Do they have a budget?
Yeah, it's coming out of
They'll take it out of.
68,000.
No. Oh, yes.
There's like 170 some thousand or 180.
80,943. We'll question that one, get a hold of Todd. Okay, all in favor of the budget or the claims? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who was the second on that?
Bruce.
I didn't second it.
I did.
Oh,
Who first did it?
Bruce did, right? Or did I do the first?
You first.
I didn't first or second.
Try it again.
I'll second it.
okay, there you go. I thought I heard it. Maybe I
Well,
did.
well, no, wait, a minute, we're going back just to the claims.
Yeah.
I made the motion. Who seconded?
Sandy the second.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Any other discussion on that? Moving down. There is one mistake on the next one. That B should be an N. Good one. Good one. Ben, you're up. There's a CDD.
You guys.
Yeah, there we go. We had rain instead of snow, so
I
I'm
will take
I'm
it.
taking that all day long.
We did run yesterday. Just to try and get some of the snow and
Slop off.
slop off the road before it had a chance to
Thought it was gonna freeze.
refreeze.
Yeah, there's 8 inches up here. It's a really thick, heavy snow. And then, but it's raining now, so hopefully it'll go.
Where are you at then?
I'm up at Chelsea's So Minnesota, Casson, Minnesota.
Thought maybe it was just Bradgate. Everything's worse than Bradgate usually. I have two items for the agenda. The first is to approve a funding agreement with the Iowa DOT for a bridge replacement for Bridge 33. That is on Iowa Avenue, just south of C-49 in Corinth Township. It's currently one of our load posted roads. I believe it was recently dropped down to a 20-ton bridge. We applied for a traffic count waiver on that because before we load rated it,
Oh, yeah, that affects the
had-
traffic count.
yeah, we had 40 vehicles a day, but after the load rating, it dropped to 20.
Yeah,
So,
so, yeah, that makes sense.
so we were able to use DOT funding by getting that waiver approved.
Good job, Ben.
Excellent.
But yeah, this is the funding agreement that goes with it. Dave's currently working on the design project for this right now.
Okay,
So will this be a all-out bridge or will this be a culvert or?
This will be a culvert. Right now, I think he's looking at either an 8x8 or a 9x9. So it's right at the very top end of,
yeah, two.
it's single, yeah, it's right at the top end of Humboldt Webster Joint
Oh, is that-
District. That comes down through, and I can't read what one that is. 113 or something on
Where
your
is
map.
Which township?
Corinth,
Down at the bottom.
Is it 1-10?
could be 1-10. It's in section 32 and 33
Yeah, looks like it
of
could be
Corinth.
1-10.
Yeah, one Humboldt joint, what's your, 1-10?
Yep, that's the one right there.
Wow, that's number one.
Not that one anyway. When's this planned for construction?
Depending on when the DOT approves, the letting date could be as early as this fall.
Okay.
So,
Or as late as next month?
or as late as next spring, yeah.
Well, this is basically the funding agreement that we're approving
Yes,
with the DOT.
yes.
I would make a motion that we approve said funding agreement for the bridge replacement number 33.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All-
Then I have a spot for you and Trish to. The second item that I have on the agenda is to award the 2024 paving project for Kroll Inc. This is for P66 paving, from the county line north to Hardy and C26 from P66 east through Renwick to Highway 17.
So will they do the milling too then?
Yes. Though, well, they might have a subcontractor. We haven't seen who their approved some subcontractors are. I assume Blacktop Service will do the HMA that's included in the project. They'll have a sub for the surveying portion of it, and they'll probably have a sub for the milling.
We haven't used these people before, have we?
We haven't, but they're very well known.
All right.
And prices were quite a bit cheaper than what we had originally anticipated.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, if everything's in order, all the papers are in order, I'll make a motion to accept and award it.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Those are the two official things that I had for the agenda. I've got some updated paperwork and specs for the joint building that we were talking about. I'll just hang around until after the meeting and I can
Okay,
hand them to you and we can discuss possible letting date if we want to go forward.
okay.
So, anything else for me?
you might be hanging around for a while.
Yeah, we got a closed session at 10.
Oh. Okay.
You wanna bring that by next week? I don't know.
Whichever you prefer, it's fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thanks,
We'll give
Ben.
you a call.
Okay.
I missed general public concerns. Is there anybody here, general public? I think so. About 5 minutes early is calling out there.
Yeah.
So calling in. We'll go into drainage. Motion that we go into drainage.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. We are in drainage. There he is.
Got a lot of bids in, did we?
Just
Yeah, just to.
I was hoping for more.
Yeah,
We
probably
still
about
have
10
minutes.
It's hard to say, but it's kind of a small project, an expensive, small project.
On it right now.
Well, because we have times to chat.
Sure.
Chat. There's a lot going on in the drainage world these days. It's, the whole county's pretty quiet.
There's some, but it's not real busy. There's not a lot of big projects going on. Kind of minimal.
Yeah, we just awarded a paving project coming quite a bit lower than we expected, so that's some good news that people, I think a lot of the commercial work is slowing down. People are getting hungry. So hopefully.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of contractors calling and asking, about what
What's up?
projects are coming up.
Mhm.
So that's my impression too, is that they're looking for work.
Mhm.
So, and it's been kind of slow for the last few years
Yeah.
on stuff, but
Well, when it's dry, you don't move a lot of water.
yeah, there's a lot of factors I think that went into that. I do think that the COVID stuff had something to do with it too. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of new project, and it was drought too at that time,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of uncertainty. And we had projects kind of continue during that time that started beforehand, but there wasn't a lot of new projects
Yeah.
coming in then. So on the construction side, we've been pretty slow the last couple of years.
Yeah. And we've done a lot of work in the past, so we've got a lot of them improved.
Sure,
Already.
sure.
We got a few, I know there's a few drainage districts out there that still have some issues.
Mhm.
When it will rain again, it'll show up,
How much rain did you get around here so far?
you know.
2.6 this morning.
Oh, really?
Whoa, really? That much?
Wow.
Wow.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Plus the snow the other night, so that should have soaked in, hopefully.
Mhm.
Our high tech thing keeps track of over an inch and a half of rain. I don't know if we keep track of snow, but it's definitely a good shot of moisture. Double check. There's no.
My high-tech 5 gallon pail tipped over, so I couldn't tell you.
I see. Yeah, is that like a graduated cylinder? But you know, right, you got marks on that.
My grandchildren still don't understand what that is, so they have to dump that out to say, I dumped the water out for you.
Hey, thanks. How much was it?
Did I look at it before you do?
No,
that?
you can't.
No, we got rid of it right away. We didn't want anybody.
We'll be on 8:45, go for the bids.
Yep, I guess that's all we're gonna get. So yeah, this is just the bid opening for the DD 80 Branch D tile improvement project. When I filed the plans and specifications, we kind of went over this stuff, but basically just as a reminder, kind of a construction cost estimate of about 180,000, a little over that. We've got it broken down into two different sections of work. Section 1, that's more or less the tile work and taking out the roads and that side of things. Section 2 is essentially the restoring the roads. And we'll see how these came in, but maybe Blacktop Service just bid section 2, like that was allowable for a contractor to just bid one section or the other. And theoretically, we could award two different contracts.
Right.
Yeah.
Were those two combined, section 1 and 2, the approximate 180,000?
Yeah, that was
both together.
That was together. Yep, that's the sum of the two of those. And then because we were gonna have the possibility of two different contractors, you have to, we had different contract completion dates for the different sections of work, because if you got two different ones, the first one's got to get done so that they can do the road work. And then you got to give them some time to come in and do the paving. So we had July 5th as the completion date for the tile work, and then August 2nd of this year for the road work. And it's just as a reminder, it's a little over 600 feet of either I'll talk about that a little bit. We do have a bid alternate, and essentially we set that up where there's gonna be reinforced concrete pipe under the roads. Through the school, there's a bid alternate for dual wall plastic. So we can see how those numbers panned out too, but it's, the first stretch is 30-inch RCP, and then we go down to 24-inch, either RCP or dual wall plastic from there. All right, we'll go ahead and open the bids. So the first bid we have is from Blacktop Service. So open the bid bond. The bid bond is acceptable. So you can go ahead and open the bid. Sure. Thanks, Steve. Okay. And there were no addenda. Okay, so they only bid the section 2 work. And their total bid for that was $22,434.56. And I didn't specify each section what I had for estimates, and not that that matters that much, but I had estimated 48,000 for section 2.
Wow.
So quite a bit less than that, which is good. Okay,
Gonna be a huge part of that is the location.
Yeah.
yeah, that certainly mattered. Okay. The second bid is from Doyle Construction. Okay. Bid bonds acceptable. From the bid. Okay. All right. Okay. They go. They did not bid the section 2 work,
But we're talking section
so now
1.
we're just talking section 1. So it's sort of like we got one bid for each one of these. Acceptable bid, yes. Okay, so for the base bid.
You can borrow my cheaters.
I can't tell for sure if that's a 3 or an 8.
Oh, boy.
That could be a big difference.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, it's not the, yeah,
Not the
it's
first
either
letter, not the
100,
second letter.
it's either 113 or $118,518.70.
Person would like
Now,
clarification.
one of
on
you? No,
I can. It's
that. No?
well, and if somebody else wants to look at this and see what you think, do you think that's they've got another 8 in the bid number, but it doesn't look
You probably should get clarification on that.
I can,
I just go calling.
I brought a laptop anyways to double check the number. If we're gonna award a contract, I wanted to make sure the numbers, because they can make mistakes at any point
Yeah,
along the
yeah,
line
well, that
anyways.
was- yeah.
These numbers that I'm reading off is like the apparent bid.
Right,
And so we check the numbers and then the unit prices that they report on the bid. And then we do the math and make sure it's all correct. If they had a math error, then we'd get that corrected, because when we award the contract, we want to have the correct
Correct,
contract
right.
amount.
So your numbers, at best, or most is 118 something on that bid.
Yes, and what I had estimated is 137 for the base bid was what I had
137.
estimated.
is that all concrete then, or does it?
Yeah, their bid alternate price. is $105,517.70. So they, for that, 357 feet through the school, basically. Using dual wall. That would be cheaper, but by how much, I don't know. Basically,
What'd you say?
yeah, $105,517.70.
That's for doing the plastic through there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it's either 8 or 13,000 less,
So that was 105, 517,
70. Yeah.
70. That's the alternate, that's plastic.
Yeah.
And that-
How many feet did you say that encompassed?
That's for 357 feet of
57 feet.
the total amount.
And what was our first one? We're still guesstimating on that. It's one.
I think it's probably a 3.
It's 113 versus 118 maybe.
It's 113 versus 105.
Okay.
Well.
So I could basically,
the checking it. and
yeah, I
then
can go
just
check the
into
numbers.
Or
Recess, or
we can finish up a little stuff.
we can do our committee reports, or
Yeah.
we can all sit here and on the Jeopardy song.
Take a little recess.
It shouldn't, if I had 10 bids, it'd take me a lot longer.
Well,
So I'll check Blacktop Service, their bid number 2.
So roughly 135,000 total.
Yeah.
135,434.
Perfect,
Thank you.
thank you.
okay.
Mm.
Take a recess until he gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's getting darker. My sister said it's pouring the names.
Oh, really?
Looks like it's raining or snowing there.
Easy,
But it is.
just rain. We don't need snow.
There's white flakes now and then I can see.
You don't even want snow, I'm good for the year.
You're good for the year for snow?
That's my part.
You had it easy.
Dave, I have a snow pile, and I know we would.
Robin.
And you got your dump trucks, it's all down, dumping his driveway and lots of snow.
Just in case I can't get a part out that I have a loader too. So.
We are on the top side of it. Everything above it is clear up in Fairmont, so must be just a little. It's awful red down by
It
Ames.
looks like they're getting thunderstorms.
Yeah, we drove down to Fort Dodge yesterday, and I mean, to tell you, it was one side you couldn't see. I said to my wife, I said, you know, this stuff freezes, we might be staying.
What they're predicting?
No.
That's up to
today for sure.
Jeez.
Yeah, they did. Well, they're doing it all.
Really,
Yeah, pretty good bids.
it is very good.
Everybody else.
No, it's usually that much or more, but that's encouraging.
And luckily they weren't, actually, I got one.
Well, I was hoping, the hope you opened up wasn't for fixing the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't have anything to be fixed. Wouldn't have anything to address the time. Well, pretty easy.
Where's doing one?
Before.
Hey,
Hey, are you even in this drainage district? Like where you live?
no.
Are you even in this drainage district?
I get hit both ways.
It's not
13 and 80.
Really, you're both? Okay.
Ben's,
bridge people, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
This one would be fairly minimal, because you're outside the project area though. Barely. Barely?
All runs my way.
Yeah, but you already paid for that. You already paid for that. This one that emptied out right next to the trail. or that-
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, it
is
goes
this
down.
one?
Yeah, goes down,
Across the
goes
trail.
You said you're in 13 as well? Where's that outlet?
south of the elevator in Humboldt. Goes straight south through that low area
Okay,
and then, and exits down there in the open ditch.
okay. Yep. South, like more or less, east.
South,
south.
yeah, southeast.
Well, this one certainly empties out, I think it's a 48 inch.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so
it is.
Down at the river. It
Dumps
goes down
and then it-
towards, across the trail, then turns back and goes to the river.
Yeah, but it empties into a drainage gully. To get
With
to
some
the-
and stuff,
Yeah.
cement things
They
that keep it
fixed
from
that,
washing.
that,
It was washing.
That needs work down there too.
what's that?
That needs work down there too.
Again?
Now,
Which one?
unless they fixed it last fall.
I thought they
Yeah,
fixed
They
it
fixed
once.
that last year.
They
The out- I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
What's that?
that spillway,
Yeah,
yeah, they fixed that right by the trail.
Right,
Right,
going by
that's-
the trail. I
that's
can't
still in
speak
good
to
shape.
where it goes
That's
in the
what I
open.
thought.
That okay?
Yeah, it's just. It's rough because you can't control. It's not in a pipe, it's in a dirt ditch.
It's right.
yeah,
So I mean, we had dug out, well, actually the county guys came over and dug out another retention pond. We put the sill barrier up. It doesn't take long to fill that in, and we're in a drought season. So unless you wanna put concrete pipe all the way down or something like that.
Probably not gonna go there, right?
It's just something
You just deal with the ditch.
you just come in every couple of years and trench it out, dig it out and put new silt filter up and.
Yep.
Let her buck until.
That all ultimately gets all the way to the river.
Yeah, cause it'll come down,
It's what, couple hundred yards to the river if that?
yeah, cause the road that goes to the sewer plant, on the west side of that, that's where that ditch comes down. There's one tile inlet basically right there. That goes underground all the way to the river, just on the north side of the park. And then there's an overflow. Which that did happen on Mother's Day last year where it got up and up. Hit the overflow, that just cups underneath of our road. And then goes through Dodd's field and just surface drains. To take the pressure off. But the only time I've seen it in over a year is on Mother's Day last year, when we had 6-7 inches of rain in 12 hours. So,
couple.
Yeah, sure.
No. I'll tell you.
Okay. Everybody else is gonna do that.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Well, at least you didn't have to go to urgent care when you cracked
No.
out that night.
Should
I felt like it.
Yeah,
That's shit, that's a tough tough feeling, tough deal.
Mhm.
Was you here when that bid was read, Jim? Blacktop on the road come in at 22,434. And it was estimated at 48. The first estimate from the engineers. And, the tile work. It's either 113,000 for the concrete. Or 105,500 for the plastic.
That under two?
That's
Yeah.
under two, yeah. That was estimated at 137.
Not to fall off my chair, I never get any quotes that are.
Yeah, they usually don't
It's
have.
unusual.
Thank
So
you.
total, probably be around 135,500
Estimated at.
estimated.
180.
180,
181 to 184.
Someone getting clarification, because it's hard to tell this and those are pretty really.
Wasn't like that. Thank you.
Is there any citizens here that's totally against it?
Yesterday. Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah.
Working?
Yep.
Okay, yep. Back in session.
So.
Okay, so the section one bid for base bid for Doyle Construction actually was $118,518.70. And then there was how they calculated the total for with the bid alternate was incorrect, so it's actually $108,268.70 for the
Plastic.
plastic.
108,
268.70.
268.
Okay.
And Blacktop Service, their bid of $22,434.56 was
All
correct.
checks out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess, let's see, what's the total of that? I didn't add that up. We're looking at
140.
140 or
145.
yeah. So I guess it's just a question of for that 300 and some feet to save $10,000,
Going to plastic.
and do plastic.
And in that general area, it's a ball field.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question, means you had to change or recalculate the bid. Do you have to go back to them and tell them that they figured their bid wrong?
No.
So we could
It
accept
says-
that?
We can, so it says right in the instructions that if there's. If they have miscalculations or anything, basically they put in unit prices for every bid item. And so whatever that unit price that they wrote in, that governs. So the rest of the math, if they did that wrong, it doesn't matter, those unit prices govern. So I entered all the unit prices in and basically that's what they're held to with that bond.
All right, I got a question.
Yeah,
All right, this project, I know we discussed, cutting down all them trees.
yeah.
Was that part of this bid, or was that based on the fact everything was full of roots, we're gonna cut down the trees?
Yeah, we didn't include that up front, so that's not.
So that's
included.
not in the bids.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
What about the gas line?
What about the gas
Well,
line?
they said it wasn't located or something like that, so they're gonna have to work around it, or what was the deal with that? Is there something added to the project because of the gas line or something? Across Main Street? No, it's water lines. The water
There's
lines.
the water lines, yeah, basically. Yeah, we've talked about that, and essentially, we were gonna go all the way to this manhole that is right in the middle of this intersection of large water mains. And it was gonna be in conflict with the pipe is what it looked like we had a hard time getting an exact depth on that. But basically, the best thing in the end is gonna be to just move that manhole. To put a new manhole in that's not. Basically, we don't have to cross the water mains with this big pipe. We'll be on the north side of it.
Okay.
So that's the game plan. That's built into this already.
Okay.
We've kind of decided that as part of the plans and specifications before we put this to bid.
Okay.
So the number estimated was 181, and the number you came up with, if you go with concrete, is 140-ish.
Yeah,
And it's 108 with the 22 would be,
If we went with the plastic through the ball field area.
Yeah.
Does the city have any issues with doing plastic in that area, or the school?
I'd rather see plastic go through there. I mean, if you're not putting anything out there, I don't see any reason to put big concrete all the way through there, but that's my opinion.
And
I'd recommend.
I think it'd keep the roots out a little better too, if there isn't a root problem.
Yeah, I'd like to see plastic go through, in my opinion.
yeah, and I believe, I don't have my project manual, but we called for non-perforated, dual wall. I'm trying to remember for sure, but I think I asked that they be gasketed through there.
Thought it was too.
And so that would help too. They're less joints.
Yeah.
Maybe they're 20-foot sticks instead of
20
8.
Instead of 8s.
And gasketed is even obviously tighter seal.
357.
I don't know about tighter seal for sure.
But what the plastic versus the concrete, I would imagine it's a little bit tighter seal than the concrete.
Well, I think we were gonna have gasketed concrete pipe
Oh,
too.
that
So it was
is,
gonna be gas
oh,
for that
oh,
too.
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this and make a comment. As an engineer and the engineer on this project, what are your thoughts on the plastic in that 357 foot?
18 sticks.
Well,
Well, it's
I
what,
know, it's amazing.
they have to put more rock in for the plastic. Like it's not like we're gonna pay them extra on the side. That was all factored in. So this is a potential to save
Save
$10,000. And it's not excessively deep.
And I can't see any reason not to use the plastic.
I really can't either. And I believe it was these guys I talked to on the phone, they were asking about, using a spoon. So basically what I had said is that if they use a spoon on the excavator and they can set either plastic or concrete in that, then for the plastic, all they would need to do is go
Rock
from
the
the,
top.
from the midpoint to the top, I think maybe 6 inches over.
And that's standard, installation for plastic.
Yeah, their municipal standards sometimes call for flat bottom trench that you put 4 inches underneath and then you encase the whole thing. But if it's good material down there that you can pull a spoon through and it holds up, it's firm, it's native material. That's gonna give a good cradle support for that pipe. So what's the need to dig out and encase it with rock?
Mhm.
And that's all assuming you've got good material. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's sandy stuff that you pull a spoon through there and it just
Falls apart.
falls
yeah.
apart, you can't do that. You have to dig it out flat anyways. I think, and they could build a spoon, but I think they said they typically have done flat bottom trench. So I don't know if they bid this as though they were gonna pay for the full encasement rock or
right.
what, but that's on them.
Yeah,
So I really don't see a reason not to do the plastic. And basically it's a straight shot between two different manholes. So they would connect to one manhole with plastic, go a single run to the manhole on the north side of Main Street. And then the rest of the project would be reinforced concrete.
My other comment, and nobody probably knows this, sitting in this room, but obviously it's the ball field of the school. We're talking this 357 feet. This is 100+ year project.
Yeah.
It's that type of a project. Is there any possibility that there's down the road some years when none of us are probably around, that it's not a ball field? The chances of it being, because we're operating under the premise that it is not a high traffic area.
Right.
It's a ball field, not a road, so on and so forth. It's not a parking lot. Things that might entail a concrete. Is there, Jim? I mean, it's a.
Hard to predict, you know, like, that building is our oldest building in the district. It would take an enrollment spike to say we're gonna build on that property.
Yeah, I just want to
Well,
throw that out
and
there.
also, it's a tile easement, can they build on that property?
They're not supposed to.
Not supposed to, yeah.
This section you're going through is actually what would originally have been a roadway.
Now,
So
okay.
it is set up, it has never been a road. Every
Yeah.
map I've ever found, 100 years old, it has never been a road. It has always been some sort of school laid out from get-go.
Mhm.
But all of a sudden, like you said, 50 years from now, and we want a road through there,
I mean, today I have no problem. I think the plastic's a great idea. It's a $10,000 savings. Everything's coming in a little less than the estimated cost. That's great news, but just food for thought. Because this was a 100-year project.
I mean, just in the overarching scheme of things, there's more that can go wrong with plastic, especially up front, as far as the installation, but part of this will be is that 30 days after they install it, that between those two manholes where there's plastic, we're gonna camera it and look.
Make sure it hasn't egged.
Yeah. And if it has, that's part of this too, is that they would have to dig that up and redo it. Yeah.
Just wanted everyone to think about that.
Is
So
30 days enough time for that to show up?
So that's kind of the standard when you look at, I don't know what you call it, the ASTM standards and stuff, they ask for minimum of 30 days. Before you would go and do that inspection to check that. So that's kind of a standardized thing. That's not to say that something couldn't happen later, but that's sort of trying to give an amount of time for things to settle. You're not looking at it the next day. There's a lot that can happen, in time, but so I don't know how they came up with that number, but that's kind of just what I'm using, just replicating that same standard.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
So we have a choice of either A, accepting this today, or B, put it off a week and listen to the people either call and say yay or nay, or what, those are our options, right?
Well, I've had conversations with the school and the city both, and they all, you both feel it's a needed project.
Yeah, we support your decisions for.
Yeah.
For whatever.
For moving forward.
Properties, yeah.
So I feel it's something we need to award today. It's just a decision between the plastic and the concrete. And I don't foresee the school expanding that way, you know.
I don't foresee a 10-story parking garage there
No,
either,
well, and
so.
as a district, you wouldn't wanna let them build over the.
no, you could just
Well,
say
that-
build somewhere else.
That's part of it too, yeah. Mention the easement is there regardless, so
Right.
you wouldn't.
Are you familiar with Doyle Construction? Where are they
I
at?
have not, they're out of Fort Dodge.
Oh, all right,
I-
I thought they were
I
around
knew
here
the
somewhere.
names, right? somewhere.
I have not personally worked with them. Ben was in the auditor's office and I asked him and cause I'm not as familiar with contractors around here and I'm not as familiar with contractors that typically do work more like this. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff that I'm doing is out in a farm field. But he said that from what he's heard, they're a reputable
Yeah,
contractor doing a lot of municipal work. So that would be the only other thing is if we wanted to look into their credentials, but I don't see that being.
No, I don't
I knew they were from around here, but I couldn't remember what
Yeah.
town, so that's my question.
Well, the good news is this has come in considerably less than the estimate, and then even less when the fact that we've seen the agricultural products with the plastic sections or bid prices were the same or more than concrete. So this is one that it actually truly came in $10,000 less.
Dave, this is most of your area, what are your thoughts?
We gotta pay for it too.
I know, I'm just asking, what do you think your people will?
Well, I've lived here over 50 years in that same house up there and I've seen that field flooded many, many, many times. I would say go for it. It needs it.
but plastic or cement,
I'd go plastic across there.
that's my feelings too. I'll make a motion to go with the plastic option. For the $108,268.70 with Doyle,
I'll second that.
and then award the project to Blacktop Service for the street repair.
Second that too.
For $22,432.
22,434.56.
For a total of $130,703.26. Everybody got that?
130,
703.26. Is that what you got, Colin?
I have not total that. I can double check it if you want. You said 130, 703, 26, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Anything from the audience?
Start date, what are you thinking?
Basically, there's not a set start date, so I'll have to reach out to Doyle Construction and schedule a pre-construction meeting and talk to them about that when they're thinking. And if we can, obviously, we're gonna be in coordination with the parties
Let us know.
affected, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Opposed? Carried.
Excellent. Thank you, Colin.
Yep.
Anything else in drainage?
Well, I got one question, that we've been through this once before, many years ago. I notice it doesn't say anything about awarding bids on the agenda.
What's the agenda say?
Agenda says opening bids for Drainage District 80B Branch D tile improvements.
So we have to put it up next week.
We'll have to- Probably have to
You're
word it
right.
next meeting, cause
You're right.
one time we got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Something similar to that, it's just the wording was a little different.
So we'll get that on the agenda for
Yep.
next week to accept.
But
it.
you can let them know that they are a little bit, and start the
Tentatively.
process.
okay, yep, I
If
will do that.
anybody's got any complaints to it, why,
So I'll have to rescind my motion on awarding bids.
Yeah, I think that's the
Safest.
safe thing. to do.
Yes, it
I
is,
mean, the-
because you know, 'cause
drainage
there's
district-
people in
How about-
town could say, hey, you didn't do it properly and cause a bunch of legal fees, and we don't want to go down that road.
it's not officially on the agenda, so.
Yeah, for awarding the
We're
bids, so.
supposed to open them today, not accept them,
Mhm.
so. I don't imagine you'll have to come down next week.
No, we keep it simple.
Just as simple.
Yep,
Tentatively, right now, it's awarded. Officially, it'll be next week.
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah,
good.
thanks,
Thanks a
everyone.
lot, Colin, for all your
Yeah.
hard work through this. Been a little bit of a
Nothing else on
process.
drainage, entertain a motion.
Motion to go out of drainage.
Second.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Oh, Gary, thank you, people.
Thanks.
Okay, we got a little bit, so. I'll let Trish get back in here.
A week behind.
When you're ready, we'll go back in session.
All right.
Okay, go back in session. Committee report, Eric.
All right, we gotta go back 2 weeks to March 12th. We had the Public Safety Commission board meeting that morning on the 12th. And then I traveled to Des Moines Wednesday and then attended the Iowa Weed Commissioners Annual Conference on Thursday and Friday. And that was, as usual, very interesting and educational and informative. So that was a very good conference. And that's the things I had then, and I was gone last week.
Alrighty, Tuesday at noon, I met with, Dave Minikis and Ben, Secondary Roads, and we talked about, our old landfill out here northeast of town. Putting together a request for quotes or bids to pull the wells and plug them out there. So we're gonna get them, Dave Minikis is gonna send them out to a list of contractors that they worked with in the past to get quotes to pull all the wells and plug them. And then also I spent some time with Ben talking over this building over here in Dakota City. And then on Tuesday evening, I went down to Fort Dodge to the city hall. And we had our, annual full board meeting with the landfill, which is all the entities that take their garbage to the landfill. There's
That region.
regional hazardous waste thing. There's some good news there, a couple of good items that they're working on. They have been contacted by an organization that collects methane gas from landfills. And I think once a landfill gets so large, the federal government steps in and says you gotta do something about your methane gas. So they are going to come in and install a gas collection system at no cost to the landfill. They're gonna build it and operate it, and then pay 4.5% of the, I would say, profits from the sale of the gas back to the landfill. We gave them a 20-year contract with a possible extension of another 25 years, so it'd be like a 45-year contract. But after 20 years, they review it. And, revenue for the landfill, they expect it to be around 120,000 to 175,000
On that.
on the sale of on the 4.5% sale of the gas. So that's pretty substantial.
It's unbelievable how much gas comes off of them.
Yeah.
Well, 50 years ago, when I was down in Georgia, they, burn it.
Yeah.
They had like an 8-inch pipe coming out of the middle of the landfill, coming up in the air, probably 20-25 feet. And it was always burning, and it would shoot a flame out there about 3 foot.
Yeah.
And that was 50 years ago, so.
Even out here to our little landfill out here, we have pipes that come out, and if you have to hold a match to it, it'll go poof. So that thing does come out of them. And one other good thing, I don't know if you remember me talking about this, the slide of garbage on the southeast corner of the landfill was moving at a 1/2 inch a foot. And the DNR says you gotta do something about it, and they had Terracon, I think it was. Give them some engineered designs. It started out at 2.5 million. By the time it got the bid, it was $8 million.
Wow.
So luckily, we did reject that idea, and then Donna Bice, our CEO down there, she was attending a meeting somewhere, and she was visiting with somebody there. And they said they'd come and take a look at it. They got an estimate of 700,000 to correct the problem. So they're pursuing that option, which is gonna save a ton of money. And the DNRs, they've done it other places, and it has passed the approval of the DNR, so that was good news too.
So what do they do with the gas once they've got all these pipes in there? Do
They're
they
gonna-
sell it? Do they
They're
use
gonna,
it?
they're gonna sell it to Mid-America.
Oh,
There's a gas pipeline close by. They'll pipe it directly into the pipeline. So that's what they're gonna
so
do.
you get a little bit out of your garbage.
Yep. Yeah,
It's recycling.
yeah, so I guess you could say it's recycling. So, there must be a fair amount of money, because we're only getting 4.5%, and they're figuring it's 120,000 would be our portion of that, so they're getting.
Wow.
What time period is that, Rick, that 120,000?
I think they hope to have it operational by 27.
Hmm.
They'll
Okay.
start building in summer, and it takes a while to get everything put in.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Wow. But that 120,000 of, that
Oh,
you
that's
get
per year,
per year?
per
Wow,
year. That'll go back to the landfill.
that's huge.
Yeah. And like I say, there's no cost. They're upfronting all the expense.
Cost.
They're gonna own that equipment and whatnot, and they're gonna operate it, so. The only issue we would have is if one of our employees down there would run into one of their gas pipeline things at
Mhm.
collections, which will be clearly marked. So I don't think there should be any problems.
That sounds like a win-win.
I know,
No, I don't.
cause if there's a pipe that can be hit, it
Yeah,
can be hit.
it can be hit, yeah.
All right,
So there are, a lot of good news down there.
yeah,
And also no rate increases.
oh, that's what I was
Good.
figuring you
That's
were
another
gonna
one,
say.
too. That's the third good thing.
Mhm.
Fourth bad thing, they didn't have any cookies, so they gave up the cookies and coffee, so we didn't have that. But that's it for me.
All right, on Tuesday, I had Udmo Finance meeting via phone. Tomorrow night, we have our regular board meeting with Udmo, so. And on Thursday, or excuse me, on Friday, the 22nd, juvenile detention. There's some. Still having some discussion on billing, and some of the issues that some of the counties have had with, getting other counties' kids charged to them, so they are working on solution for those, so those were my two meetings.
Okay. On Tuesday, the 19th, at the hospital, we had our Humboldt County Opioid and Alcohol Coalition meeting. And we're getting closer to actually coming up with hopefully a game plan. We needed to get events that would be willing to either say they're not going to sell alcohol at events, or if they do, they have to see if they would do the wristbands to see whether they would be, you know, of legal age to be able to drink. They would just put one of those wristbands on. And there actually is a grant where these wristbands are made, so it wouldn't cost any extra money for that. It would just be getting the different things to agree to doing that. So I thought that sounded like a good idea. Wednesday, I had ministerial there in Humboldt, and then I also had kitty cat daycare. And believe it or not, we're still trying to work with the food program. They keep coming up with little teeny roadblocks to keep us from giving us the seal of approval. They say we're going to get it, and yeah, so that's a frustration on our part, but we're close. We should be getting it. Let's see, Thursday, nothing. And then Friday morning at the hospital, we had the human trafficking for business or for leaders of Humboldt there, which I thought it was a very good program, very eye-opening and very, very scary. It's more prevalent than what I had any idea of what was going on. And there, I think what it was, April, wasn't it like they said 1 in 5 people was a perpetrator for the human trafficking that actually used these people, which is sad. And if you think of that, that's scary. And they said that Iowa is number 3 in the country for human trafficking. And and then they said 48% here in Iowa is 48% of the people that are trafficked are known by the person who's trafficking them. Yeah. They were talking about there's training available for employers so that they can be aware of the signs of human traffickers and things like that, which I thought would be maybe interesting, maybe for our secondary roads people, because they're out and about all the time. And they might see something that, you know, they say, don't confront them, but get a hold of law enforcement for that. And yeah, so there's a lot to think about. We're talking about getting maybe doing another so that we come to these. I brought up a point. Hey, if we come to this, we're made aware of this. Now, what are we going to do moving forward? So so that we don't forget about it. We just hear it and then we walk away and say, oh, okay, we need to actually work at of course, lessen it. And the problem is you've got people that want this stuff, and that is, you know, there's a lot of issues going on with that. So we just need to come up with a plan. So how are we going to, in Humboldt County, try to cut it down at least or something. So we're talking about getting a group together and try to figure that out. And that's all I had.
Okay,
Dave, can I interrupt you a minute? I forgot one thing.
we forgot the housing meeting.
That's what I forgot. Yeah. 3 o'clock on Wednesday at a housing meeting, Humboldt Housing. I forgot your block too. Yeah.
Okay, Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I had the housing meeting. 5 o'clock, I was over at the conservation for their meeting. And that's all I had last week. Couple of them canceled.
Have anything else for you, Trish? Okay, motion going to recess until 10.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are recessed till 10 o'clock when we got a closed session.
Just an FYI, Wednesday at 6 is the assessor's budget hearing for the assessor's conference board.
Good reminder.
It's Wednesday at 6. One of Bruce's favorite meetings.
Oh, I might as well have finished the week out. On Wednesday and Friday.
Say that.
No, Thursday.
Yeah,
Because everything was discussed prior.
yeah, it's basically just a vote.
Just gotta do it, that's the protocol about like good catch on the awarding bid.
Yeah.
Written on the agenda.
20, DD 126. We got sued because we worded something different on there. It was a simple accept or
Approve, accept.
approve. We used the word approve or accept. I can't remember which it was, but
So
they,
now it's accept and approve.
so now it's accept and approve.
Okay, well, make sure we put it down as such.
Yeah, so we gotta make sure we follow them to the T, I guess.
Theoretically.
Yeah, we need to make sure that our agendas,
That was kind of my reason when I said, what do we? Can we accept it or do we have to do it next week or?
That's why I was looking at it here and.
Well, I read it,
Can't
but I
make a
didn't.
motion, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
I read it, but I guess I read it and didn't ask the last question.
So it'd be like one other bullet point below that.
Yeah,
And hopefully I'll be back by 6:30 for her meeting Wednesday. I gotta be in Des Moines at 2 o'clock. Actually, it's at 11 o'clock and then another one at.
If not,
You'll be here.
we'll be here.
I will not be back in town till Thursday.
Rick will be here. Bruce will be
I'm
here.
planning on it.
We'll have a.
Well,
Six or seven of us.
I got
6
3
or
of them.
7.
So I wouldn't get a speeding ticket.
Takes long, that's why I said.
For
why
that,
can't we do it on
I should. do
Parking
that.
Parking lot, because
I
it
wouldn't
takes
get a
longer to
speeding
walk up the
ticket.
steps than it does to have a meeting, so. For us older people,
You still don't like the steps?
I still don't like them.
Okay.
I didn't have to go down the steps to get on the elevator, I'd consider
Weather's around.
it. Then you gotta walk further down.
Hey, guys, if I could introduce myself, I'm Mark Wilson, I'm with JCG, and I represent RWE with the wind farm. So they wanted me to come to the meetings just to listen to hear if there's any changes on the memorandum or anything.
What's your last name again?
Wilson,
And you're with whom?
what's that?
Who are you with? I'm sorry.
JCG?
You're the land company that acquires the leases.
We are, yep,
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well, Angelique or Angela or whatever her name is, she called me again. You guys get a call from her.
I.
No message, I haven't called her back.
She's called me several times and wants to talk to me, and so I'm gonna try to meet with her this week, and I'm gonna try to meet with her about 6 o'clock, so I can take her up to my brother-in-law's place and show her what it's like to live around the windmills.
Good.
And see what she thinks. She hear the constant whoosh, 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 and the constant flicker, flicker.
Long story short, we're not interested.
But
Well,
so you do have at least 10,000 acres that have already signed. You guys do understand that, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we hear.
So there is some definitely interest.
know, there's interest out there. I
Now
know
there
there
always
is.
has been.
Yeah,
And
And I understand.
honestly, it's truly up to the farmers. You get enough
Right.
acres, we can't stop it.
right,
Right.
yeah. And,
I had
You
a
know-
couple of landowners ask me that are signed to it, and I said, you know, it's up to the landowners. I mean, if you can get enough land, I mean, it's really kind of out of our hands, other than the setbacks and things like that, that we can do, but,
yeah, and
You know.
I just, want you guys to know, we're not doing the hard sell. You
No, I-
know, so we're,
Well,
my
you kinda
job's to
are,
give
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You need to put, yes, please do not go back, cause you've been to my aunt's 4 or 5 or 6 times. And they were just there again this week,
yeah,
and she told them no 5, 6 times.
So I've got all the no's, if we put them on a map, we don't go back, and we,
Now, let me give me your map and I'll change it because you need to put her name on the list.
is it RWE?
Yes,
Okay,
I got your letter.
okay,
Yeah, we've been to meetings where landowners put the meeting together to say,
Yep.
what can we do to keep these people from bothering us?
sure,
right.
So there, that should tell you that we're not making it.
yeah, no, and so I'm new to the project, just so you guys know, and. You know, we wanna make sure we're very visible, we wanna make sure you know who we are, so if there is any issues, you know, we're not here to give them a hard time. You know, if they don't want it, that's fine, we're here to give them information so that they can make an informed decision. You know, I know if you guys would like, I could bring you information in the future, just so you know what the project is going to look like, or what they want it to look like for RWE. So, you know, I think that's critical too, that you guys are informed on what RWE is looking to do. So, and I get, there is plenty of opposition and I can understand that, you know, there's both sides, I think, to it. So,
Mhm.
you know, we just want to make sure we can inform everybody as much as possible. So,
I don't think anybody would
When
be
you
against revenue that they help generate, but by the same token, when they're all done with.
And what's your opinion of what happened up in Worth County?
I'm not familiar with Fort County.
Well, up there, they were getting to their point where they're gonna have to start paying their full tax, which is only 30% of what they're assessed at.
Mhm.
So they tore them down, moved them over 5 feet, poured a new foundation, put them back up, and started over at 0.
Boy.
That's pretty underhanded dealing. in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's what they
Do
did.
you know what company it was?
Not right offhand, though.
They
Yeah.
cut the old bases off 5 foot and put the dirt.
I mean, they
back.
did like they said, they'd cut them down 5 feet below the top of the soil, moved them over 10 feet, bored a new hole, poured a new foundation,
Started over.
started over.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe they would do that. I can't speak for
Yeah, I
that
wouldn't believe
company.
either, but that's what
Um,
happened.
This is all the shifty, shady, slippery slope here, this whole thing.
Yeah,
When and if federal tax dollars ever dry up on this, you won't have a job. You'll be looking for something else to do.
so I think that's where it's important that you guys understand, you know, what RWE doesn't get. Cause they get tax rebates, but they don't get some of the things the other, like Alliant and Mid-American do. Yeah, I think it's important to know that stuff, you know, and I'm not an expert in that, you know, that's probably where somebody from RWE needs to come talk about it. What I can tell you is I know what their projected revenue for the county is, if they would get the 39 turbines, that they're not looking for a real big wind farm.
I've heard that before too.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
they won't-
Adair County said that also. I was down at the
Oh,
ISAC
oh,
meeting
delivered
last.
with them.
Yeah,
When
you
I was
gotta
at
have the
ISAC,
acres
they
for it.
said they were only gonna have 100 and they ended up having 149. You know, and they didn't
yeah,
know about it
there's
until
no
it
way
was
they
all
get
said and done.
149 in this county, not even close.
Well, what happens is, once they get started, you're already looking at the damn thing. So then you think, well, I might as well sign up and get it, so it just grows, because you're already looking at it, because you can see it 5 miles away.
Mhm.
So
That's how it happens.
Yeah,
yeah, what is the amount of you said you have 10,000 acres already signed up? What do you need to be, to make it? I'm just curious.
a lot of it depends on the connectivity, you know,
That ladder's calling for
if
the,
you sign a bunch over here, a bunch over here, and a bunch over here, and you
It
can't
doesn't do
connect
any
them,
good.
it doesn't do you much good.
Yeah.
Well, there's
You
a lot
know,
of that, yeah.
there is
10,000
a lot of that.
And it.
So you
it
need the
is-
connectivity or the
Yeah.
what do they call it? Contiguous, the contiguous, isn't that what?
Yeah, so there's connector lines that run between them, you know, the collector lines, you still have to have
Mhm.
people engaged in the project because they gotta bury the collector lines, so some
Okay.
people don't want that because.
Yep.
You know. They don't want anything on their land, so that makes sense as well, and we understand that, and. You know, there's no guarantee this project goes through, but I think we're trying to be visible so that you guys know who we are. You know, you're comfortable contacting us.
There's the letter. Take that person off your list.
Yep. We will,
Alrighty.
I can promise you that, so,
Thank you.
and they just want me here, you know, so I don't want you to wonder who's the weird guy in the corner, right?
Well,
Like,
I've
I'm not
seen you
here
here
to,
before.
We knew who you were.
I'm not here to disrupt anything, if you guys want information, that's great, if not,
Not at this
I'm not
point.
trying to push it on you, so.
And as you know, with the moratorium, whenever planning and zoning gets everything where they need it to be, and a review of ordinances and comprehensive plan that they're working on now,
Yep,
could be
Could
by
be
the
a
end of
year.
this year.
yeah,
Don't know. We haven't got a report
yeah,
as of late, but I know they're working on it.
Yep.
And that's gonna be a telling thing for everyone.
yeah.
It really
No,
is. They
absolutely.
need to have that opportunity.
Yep, they do,
Everybody,
Yep.
whether they're interested or not.
I mean, I know, I understand there's landowners out there that want it. And I can understand why, because it's a lot of money, especially if you're a young farmer or something,
mhm,
Mhm.
You
and,
don't live here.
or if you
Yeah.
don't, yeah, majority
Yeah,
of
there's
them
a
are.
lot of
don't live
absentee
here.
landowners.
it's about 50-50.
Yeah,
The farm managers, of course, love this because they get more money if they were representing the farm, but they can get some of this.
so, you know, I'm not here to stop the farmer from doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's your job to get the acres signed up, but. My opinion changed greatly over them after I actually experienced it. Where it's only gonna be a few windmills. All of a sudden, they got a lot closer to public land than they said they were going to, because
Yeah.
before they said, oh, we can't get any closer because of the setbacks. Well, all of a sudden they threw in a few more windmills and it's just exploded. The whole damn county's covered with them in Cassuth
Yeah.
County.
Oh, it is,
Yeah, I mean, and,
it's multiple companies,
yeah, it is.
yep,
And, you know, they're probably gonna be a wealthy county going forward.
yeah.
Maybe not.
So here's, and just so you guys know my background, well, I grew up on a farm.
Yeah,
So I'm not here to give people a hard sell. I'm not commissioned. My job is to give them information. And I get that hasn't always been that way in the past.
mhm.
You know, I know there's guys out there that work commission, that push. That's not gonna be me. I talked to several people here last week. Got plenty of no's, you know. And a lot of them they were good no's. They explained their concerns.
Mhm.
A lot of concern is the tiling, right? A lot of people have fresh tile. And they are gonna cut tile if they run a collector
yeah.
line through it.
Oh, yeah.
And they, you know, yes, they're responsible to fix it. Does it get
I
done
mean,
right the
I-
first time? Not always.
Yeah, I really haven't heard that complaint.
That's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
I've
big
heard
one.
that one a lot.
Well,
And
they
that's a big-
always come back and fix them though.
They
Yeah,
do,
but
but
you
it
don't
take,
know.
yeah,
You don't know. You're opening up a can of worms. with
Yeah.
that.
ISAC, there was a lot of supervisors down at ISAC meeting, and they were talking about that it was a struggle to get them to come back and fix the tiles. Even though it said it
Yeah.
was supposed to, it was a huge struggle.
and I do know RWE, you know, they use all local guys, you know, I just was at their Illinois facility. All the pipeline guys that work there are local guys, you know, so they do get it fixed, but, you know, those are valid concerns. So I'm here to tell you, you know, I'm not out there to make light of an issue like that, cause tile's a very legitimate issue.
And look at this map of the county. That's nothing but drainage.
What's that?
That's nothing.
I know,
That's drainage districts with drainage district tiles. Multiply that by 100 for all the private tiles that drain into
Yep.
it.
How many
No, it's a
drainage
legitimate
districts do we
issue.
have? How many drainage actual districts do we have? do you think?
A lot.
I know we have a lot, but do we have an idea of how many the count is?
129
Hundred and twenty-nine? Okay.
districts.
Districts, and
just-
then like you said, all the private then,
Right, and then multiply that exponentially.
Is
how
the
about
county,
10 times that?
I'd say at least, probably more.
so is the southeast, is it broken up by quadrants? Is that,
No.
your
it's-
districts are not?
Districts are broken up by topography of the.
Yeah, the
of
drainage
the
districts are
district,
determined by elevation of the soil.
I got,
of
okay,
what's in that district, whether.
Whether
it's a
water
ditch,
runs downhill, if it runs downhill, you're in that district.
okay.
Whether it's a ditch or a tile or both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but the majority of what we're looking at is on the southeast quadrant.
Southeast,
Yeah,
got that far, yeah.
and it's, there's nothing up north or
Yeah.
west or, you know, and that's what I'm here to do, try to give you guys information so you know as much as you want. If you don't want any, I understand that.
Not
too.
at this point, I mean, we've got enough to know and.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is the last time we looked at our ordinance, the windmills were probably 30% smaller than what they're going up now.
Yeah, they are, cause the ones they're wanting or projecting for this
Are bigger
are
and bigger.
4.5 megawatts. That's a bigger turbine.
Mhm.
And that's why you have a lot less of them. You know, some of these big 120 turbine farms, those are probably maybe 1.5 or 2 megawatts. So I mean, they're really trying to get away from that low wattage, right? So there's not farms with 130 turbines, because that's a lot of maintenance. It's a huge cost. You know, and you gotta maintain 130 or you gotta maintain 139 for the same total megawatts.
Yeah,
Makes a big
maintenance
difference.
is way higher.
Yep.
Well, for you, cause it's your job, you're gonna do it, you're getting paid to do it, you know, like Rick said.
Yep.
Don't bother people.
Yep.
And
And I
You know,
promise you,
if they say no, they mean no.
I do, yeah.
They've apparently, it may not have been you personally, but it was some other characters out there. And they
And-
didn't take no for an answer.
So I'm the only one on the project. So if you get any complaint on RWE, please call me. Like,
Okay.
please reach out to
Didn't
me.
they switch though, or was it always RWE that's been snuffling about?
No, yeah, that's been different outfits.
There was they were 2018, I
No, not-
forget. They were,
this past year, so was it always been RWE?
there's
I thought-
multiple companies out
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah. And there's solar and there's
Don't want
There's
that
a
either.
bunch, and to be honest with you, I think it feels everybody's the same to a farmer that doesn't want anything, you know,
They
it's
don't
just
care.
one more person bothering them. I get it, and that's why I tread very lightly. You know, if they say no, I leave. And
Well,
thank
keep
them
treading
for-
lightly
Yep.
and kind of got the overview.
Yeah,
that,
I do,
You
yep,
know,
I get it.
I mean, I don't represent southeast part of the county, Rick and Dave do.
No,
But my area, I had the most calls, and it may not have been you guys. Might have been somebody else.
it shouldn't be anybody if it's up
More
north.
northwest in that, and it was a hard no.
Yep.
They said, they don't. I got calls from Vernon Township. Little lady, yep,
From Vernon?
yeah, that'd be the north of Dave's, right, so south of Laverne probably.
Well, guys, I know you gotta,
Yeah, we gotta get
Meeting,
moving along, but, you know, I
so-
know
Is
you're the-
someone gonna call?
But
yeah, and like I said, you know, I'll be around, so call me. I'm not here to intrude in your meetings either, but they
I
want
appreciate that. Well, they,
represent, I'll
they
just be
do,
quiet.
they do want you, I mean, I know you're between a rock and hard place sometimes.
So I thank you guys for your time, so I
Right.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Does someone want to call me or do I need to call someone? How do you
You'll
want me
have
to
to
do
call in on somebody's cell phone,
that? Okay,
so.
I'll hang up or I'll leave the meeting.
Hey, taking that.
Then have Trish
The
close.
little lady in Vernon Township.
I'm in the middle of the table, you can call me Sandy.
This is hard.
Okay, I'll call you, Rick.
All right.
No, he passed away. She said, not interested, I don't want that crap. No, they don't. That's fine. No.
Well,
John's gonna come down.
He is down here.
He's, he just come in
Okay.
I should probably go get my phone with her.
Sandy's gonna call in on my phone, I'll put her on speaker
Okay.
when it comes time.
Are we off the hoot owl?
Hoot Owl's still on.
For me. Well,
Well, we can't.
Well,
use that.
what- that has to record us going into closed session.
Right.
Then we have to shut it off.
Right on protocol.
I'm trying my best.
Tell you what,
Look at my folder.
I've made enough mistakes over my tenure here.
Are we meeting with the attorney or what are we
Yes,
doing?
well, I think he's gonna call.
Right. Well, I see Randy's in there too, so keep him colonel.
All right, Sandy, I got you on speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we gotta wait. And we're still in open session
Okay.
and, then we have to go into closed session and we'll shut everything off, so.
Oh,
Except for you, we'll keep you on. Yeah, this Angela, she's called me 3 times.
I think I got at least.
And it's
2.
probably because that's my area, I don't know.
Probably.
she called everybody.
Oh, yeah.
She called you.
Sandy, me.
Oh, okay. And she's from Chicago.
She's probably called me and I just, when
She's coming
I
out.
see it, I don't answer.
Yeah,
'cause
Chicago. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm glad you changed your mind, because we
Well,
were over in, probably Sac or Carroll, there's a few smaller things scattered about. And there's this, we ride a bike trail. And more than once, the first time, we didn't really know what we were, it sounded like a small jet plane landing on the bike. Because they get quite close to one. And it's like, and not for me to you, but it's on one side of the road, the trail kind of where the road comes. And in a given day, it's just some small jets.
well,
And we were not next to it.
yeah, up there to my brother-in-law's, he's got them. Let's start off, they were
We
just on
can't shut the door.
you gotta leave that open until we go into closed session.
Gary, he said it was just in the southeast. Gary Erickson said that, Sharon, isn't that, yeah, Sharon's husband's Gary, yeah. She said they've come and talked to them several times. So I don't think it is just the
You
southeast.
gotta leave that open until we go into closed session. Well, they've been
Right,
They've been out bouncing around. They're continuing to work on people and just like anything else, until they get told no 14 times evidently.
Seems like that's what it takes, Bruce.
being 10 o'clock, we need a motion to go into closed session.
I would make that motion that we go.
We gotta wait for our secretary.
I'll get our secretary introduced.
See, I think she went, no, she got a recorder.
Oh, I have just.
I can't. Look, back to the girls for women's game last night, when that coach came onto the court and chest bumped that chick, should have been a technical. It was
They didn't.
it wasn't in timeout or nothing.
Immediately.
Huh?
Immediately.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, that was that.
And then the lady goes, the announcer's like, well, she was so fired up. She's one of the best coaches in
Don't care.
the history. It don't make any difference. It'd be like, one of the football coaches run out onto the field to chest bump somebody
Yeah,
during a play.
yeah.
You can't do that.
No, that was.
Her assistant coaches were just.
Oh my God, the one grabbed her and she gave almost a little eye roll like she's losing it. Which I know she's
Yeah.
excited, because I don't think they thought that the fight from the dog was gonna be as bad as it.
Oh, they did not.
Yeah, Leon said it was a really good game.
Oh, it was, well, like they said on the TV this morning, it was an instant classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I knew I had to get to bed. I had 2 kids I had to get up with at 6 o'clock.
Well, I made the mistake of turning it on at about
So,
2 minutes after 9.
do we wanna-
I'm screwed.
We need a motion to go into closed session.
Yeah.
Get that thing done.
Said it was
Well, we need the
really
motion before we shut it down.
Yeah.
Right.
Hang on.
Well, we're waiting on you.
Yeah.
And you're 4 minutes late. All right, what sign? I'm gonna.
Stupid thing. Okay.
He looks way too young to retire.
Rick gave you a compliment. Stu,
Who did?
Rick, he said you look way too young to retire. Wanted to start this off on a positive note.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second, Bruce's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. Aye.